Well, good afternoon. It is a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Old Town Temecula, and I am here to shoot Engine Company 12, the building on 6x17. And I just knocked on the door and got permission to take the photo, and the fireman who answered the door was actually very nice, and he said, no problem, enjoy. I always prefer to get permission from the building owner or the manager or whoever's here, just so they don't think I'm doing anything weird. It just makes me feel a lot more relaxed that I know that everything's okay and I've already told them what's going on. All right, so I've got my 6x17 roll film back. I've got my Chamonix 5x7 camera, tripod, and my entire large format kit, but that travels all as one piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and get set up, and then I'll take a few viewfinder snaps and see what lens I need and all that stuff. All right, so let's get this composed with the viewfinder app, take a couple snaps and figure out what kind of lens we need. Let's see, get centered on the building. Let's see if I can stand right about here. And yeah, I guessed it right, looks like 90 is just about right. And the center is just, see, let me look at that with my eyes real quick. Engine 12, the middle of the 12, got a little light there. All right, so the center of the frame vertically is right in between the glass pane and the top of the garage. And the third one to the right, let's take a snap. Boom, boom. All right, so I'm gonna stand right here, just in front of the R in parking. All right, let's do that. All right, so I'm gonna put the lens on, and I've got the fire house right over there, and then the engines are right inside. So I'm gonna do everything I can to set up right here and then just get in position and take it real quick, just so in case there's a fire call and I got all my stuff in the way. So I'm gonna get out of the way right away in case the firemen get a call. So I'm gonna get the lens on and get everything done right here. Let me turn the camera so you can see what's going on over here. All right, so as you can see, the door just opened and a fireman came out. I let him know again what I was doing, and he asked me questions about my camera and what kind of camera it was, yada yada. But anyways, I just let him know what I was doing, and he said, no worries. All right, let's get the camera in place. And right in front of the R. In parking, and I got to step back to about right here. All right, so I'm gonna leave you guys over there. I can't really put the camera in the street because there's cars driving by, and I don't want to put it up on the driveway here in case I got to move real quick. Okay, so I'm shooting Ektar, so I'm gonna go ISO 100. And let's see here. All right, so let me pop open this camera just so you can see. Okay, so there's my shot. As you can see, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the main building at +1. I'm gonna meter off like the beige siding and put that at +1. So I'll put a little X on the screen to show you where I'm metering. Take another snap. Okay, so I don't have any filters on the lens, so let me go +1 on the meter. Love these Sekonic meters. And I'm in EV mode. All right, so I'm gonna right under the 3167. 60th of a second, 22.7. Just make sure that is consistent. 60th. The sky is about the same, so you should get a pretty blue sky. Fire truck is pretty dark, so I don't know what I'm going to get on this fire truck. Showing a 1/4 of a second. So let's see, 30, 15, 8, 4, that's 4 stops. Huh. We might get something. All right. 60th of a second, 22.8. All right, let's roll with that 60th of a second, 22.8. So I've already got 60th of a second dialed in, must be from my last shoot. And let's go to 22.8, which is just shy of f32, so right there. Cock the lens, shutters closed. All right, let's get the back off and trade it from my roll film back. All right, got a nice divider here so I can slide that in and then put my roll film back right in. Let's do that. All right. Okay, roll film back's in. Dark slide is still in. Let's meter it one more time. 60th at 22.3. So it dropped just a hair. Okay, 60th, 22.3. Let's test fire. Cock, 60th, 22.3. Let's pull the dark slide and roll. Here we go on the dark slide. Get the cable release ready. Here come some loud motorcycles. All right, here we go. Okay, I don't know if you can hear me. 3, 2, 1, boom. All right, let's put the dark slide back in. All right, so I took 4 frames and everything should come out fine. Everything looks good. The sky should be blue. The building should be nice. I have shot this building before in digital and they just recently painted it, so it does look quite a bit nicer. Really the thing that I'm wondering about is how much detail I will get inside the garage there. Hopefully I get a little bit of that fire truck, but we shall see when the film comes back. But all right, let's get the film developed. Okay, so before we take a look at the film, let me show you the equipment that I used in this photo shoot. The camera was a 57 FS2 5x7 field camera with a Luland Toyo 110mm lens board adapter, so I don't have to change lens boards to use the camera. The roll film holder was a DAYI 6x17 roll film back for 5x7 cameras. The lens was a Nikkor-SW 90mm f/4.5 lens. The light meter was a Sekonic L758 DR. The tripod was a Manfrotto 3021N tripod and a 3029 head. The focusing loop was an eTone 6x focusing loop with diopter adjustment. And then the shutter release cable was a 15.75-inch Vello TSR 40. All right, so let's take a look at the negative. This is an Epson scan, and I took 4 shots. The only difference in each shot was this guy in the background moving around, so I just chose the one that was least distracting. And as it turns out, it's really not that big of a deal. It's not very distracting at all, so I probably could have used any one of the shots, but I chose this one to go with. So this shot itself looks pretty square and level. The lines right here at the bottom, I was a little worried about if they would look kind of awkward, but they look pretty good. The building looks perfectly centered. It looks square. I did have to use quite a bit of rise just to avoid any perspective with the building leaning back, and it came out great. So I'm real happy with that so far. And one of the things I was worried about was this fire truck here in the shadows, and it looks like we're going to get quite a bit of detail out of that fire truck. So let's go ahead and process the image. So let's select the film border, and let me change that to 11 by 11. Sometimes I get better results with that. Select the film border, create a new layer, fill that layer with the film border, and then change the mode to divide, and a new inversion layer, and new levels layer, and then let's go ahead and see if we can find some gray in the image, which is about right here. It's going to get the color really close. Let's go ahead and set the white balance, or the white point I should say. And let me see, I can get some clipping in the image itself, just probably about right there. All right, and let's set the black point, and let me leave a little bit of room for camera raw. So normally the film board I want to have it black so I have the right black point, but I'm going to leave a little bit of room when we go into camera raw. All right, so let's go ahead and flatten the image, and then go into camera raw to do some editing. Alright, so let's pop open camera raw here. And the first thing I want to do, I shot it without a center ND filter. I wanted to see how much this lens vignettes, and it doesn't vignette a whole lot, but there is some noticeable vignetting. So what I'm going to use is a radial gradient here just to overcome the vignetting. So let me drop the exposure just a hair in the center, maybe about right there. All right, let's go ahead and check the exposure and the white point. Let's set the white point first. Let's move it up to about right there. Get the exposure up just a little bit. And bring back the whites to about, let's see where it clips. All right, there's not a lot of clipping there. I used the exposure. Okay, so there's a little bit of clipping there, but this area right here is about, it's a little too hot. Let me just back it up just about right there. And I like the white point right about there. Let's set the black point. Looks good about right there. Let's double check the color balance. Let's find that same gray spot. And it looks like we were pretty darn close because Camera Raw doesn't want to change it at all. So it's easy to cheat when you have some gray in the image itself. It's not that big of a deal to do it. Otherwise, it just takes a couple seconds longer to do it by eye. But I like to do that because the color gets really accurate really fast. Let's put a little curve on this. Drop it just a little bit here. Come up just a hair there. All right, and let's do the sharpening. This is a 1200 DPI scan. It's not anything I'm going to print from. It's just this initial test scan. I normally drum scan keepers anyway, but let's go do 100% and look at how sharp this, both the scan and the lens. This is a, yeah, you can see a little dust. I'm not probably going to work on the dust too much because, as I said, I'm going to drum scan this anyway. But I'm real happy with the detail in that fire engine. That looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and put that back in view. See if there's anything else that I want to change. Looks like exposure's good. Maybe come up the shadows just a hair. Just like so. I've already sharpened it. Alright, so everything looks good there. Let's go ahead and click OK and then come out of Camera Raw back into Photoshop and just look at the difference between the edit where we started. Just brighten it up a little bit and didn't do a whole lot other than that. Let's go ahead and crop it. It's a 3:1 aspect ratio. So let's zoom in and see if we can really bring it down. Let's see how it was centered initially. Wow, that's pretty good. It is dead center right off the bat. So I'm using the edge of this. So this I don't know, section of the building would be the center. So I have the grid lines right here, and they are dead on. All right, so let's go up to the top and get to the top of the film border. just so we can get the crop done. A little dust anomaly there I have to take care of later. Bring that about right there. Let's check the bottom. Go over to the right and just above the film border there. All right, everything looks good. Let's put that back on screen. All right, let's take a look at the image. Looks pretty good. I'm really happy with the image, and nothing here that I'm unhappy with. Let's go ahead and convert this to black and white and see what that looks like. So let's, it's already flattened, so let's go back and do camera raw. And switch it to black and white. And everything looks good exposure-wise. Let's check the mixture. I think if we change the reds, it'll put a little bit more contrast. Yes, you can see. So if I leave it there, it looks a little dull. So if I back up the reds, puts contrast in the letters. And let's see if we bump up the blues just to make that sky just a little bit whiter. And maybe do a little tiny bit more curve adjustment. All right, that looks really good. Okay, so let's go back and forth between the color image and the black and white image. And I would say that, I don't know, there's a toss-up. I do like the color image. Everything looks pretty good. I'm happy with the exposure. I think I chose the correct exposure on the building, putting that at +1. Maybe I could have exposed it another 1/4 to a 1/2 a stop because I had to brighten it just a hair in camera raw, but everything looks really good. I'm happy with this image. As I said, I shot it on digital before. It was an 8-shot stitch, but this is a native 6x17 film shot. And I'm kind of glad that they opened one of the doors. I did not ask them to do that. I don't know if they did that for my benefit just so the engine would be in the photo, but the guys at Engine Company 12 were very hospitable when I initially knocked on the door. The guy was super polite. He didn't act like I was bothering him or anything, and he said, "Yeah, sure, go ahead and do what you need to do." So it, you know, as I said, it just made me feel really comfortable being in front of the station, taking the photo. I like to make sure that I have permission, just so I don't have that nagging feeling in the back of my head that somebody's going to think that I'm doing something nefarious or weird. But anyways, let's go back to the black and white, and that's a real strong image too. So again, another video where I'm like torn between black and white and color, but it looks like I have 2 strong keepers. So I'm going to send this off to drum scan, and that'll take I don't know, probably a week or 2 to get back. But yeah, everything looks really good. I'm happy with this photo shoot. I love my Chamonix 5x7 setup with the DAYI 6x17 roll film back. It is a full native 6x17 camera set up that way, and then I can also use it as a 5x7 camera. So that camera is quickly becoming my favorite camera. So, all right, there you have it. Thanks for coming along, and I will see you next time.